Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for hour number 2 on the Mark Hoke Show. Very excited to have you with us for the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I'm Mark Hoke, the David Difference, and Brian Ronovich from LasVegasWrestlingScene.com.
You were invited. I don't think I was.
You were. Stop it. Stop it.
I didn't say you guys are invited.
Inside baseball talk.
Interviewing.
I don't Send a group text message saying, hey, guess who's going to be here? Oh, well, I'm not invited.
By the way, I'm only doing the interview and not you. So that's how I took it.
That's how you took it, man. Well, that's your internal dialogue. I felt when I got that message was like, we about to interview Saraya.
Well, I wish I would have thought that because I didn't. I went to bed.
I mean, I know it's the Mark Hoke Show, you know, and you
got to – because he did all the other ones. Like when we've talked to people, you talk most of the time, Mark. Like it's your show. I get it. Like I'm not offended by it.
The only reason
you can poke fun at us. You can call me names all you want.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is that a lot of the times when I've done interviews in the past, I didn't have people that were willing to come into the studio.
Well, that's a shame.
So
that is a shame.
It's a new game, man. So change your mindset because you were definitely invited.
Well,
and you were here in spirit, brother.
I will take it as an invite next time.
Yeah, I
but
say
when you
this
were
is
talking
going
about
on,
it, I thought that's you were because you're the host. So I just assumed you were the host. You were going to be doing it. Like it wasn't like I didn't take it personally.
We're a team.
I was just like, oh, I appreciate that.
We're
like
a
being
team.
on the team.
Yeah, when Johnny Carson interviewed people, he always had Ed McMahon right by his side. Ed wasn't like, this ain't about me now, is it?
They weren't coming from home to do it, though.
And Ed would just chime in with some drunk question and ruin it. And it'd be great TV.
Kind of like Brian.
Right, exactly.
So
just pipe in with stuff, random thoughts.
Oh, my God. So anyway, we had the chance to sit down with AEW's Saraya, of course, formerly Paige in WWE, and speak to her about, well, boy, I think, Dave, we went all over the world on this one.
We did.
It was a pretty cool interview. So what do you say, guys? We hear from AEW's Saraya right now. We are on the Mark Hoke Show. Very excited. David Difference, buddy, we are getting ready for Double or Nothing here in Las Vegas.
Definitely. I'm truly excited about this one, man.
Oh, man. And you're going.
I am, yeah. I'm in there, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, you can thank Big John over there. That's pretty awesome. But
Come on.
But we are thrilled to have in studio today truly one of the legends in professional wrestling. Yeah, absolutely. Me? Yeah, you.
Oh, no, Twitter would disagree with you, bud. But
well, you know what? To heck with those guys.
Yeah, that's right.
But we are very happy to have in studio with us Saraya. Welcome to Las Vegas. How are you?
I'm good. You know what? I'm really happy you're able to pronounce my name perfectly.
Right.
You know, the amount of times that Taz just cannot get the hang of it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I was watching your debut. And they just kept saying it over and over. And I was like, is that how you say it?
No, it's not.
Right.
And so, you know what? Kids in school are so cruel, right? Because that reminds me of now I'm just going to trauma unload on you right now. When I was a kid, you know how cruel they can be in school? They would call me psoriasis. And I was like, that's not even how you pronounce my name. Yeah, it was a whole thing. No, I'm fine. But yeah, so whenever someone calls me Saraya, I'm like, it's not Saraya, it's Saraya. Ray of Sunshine.
It took me 2 weeks.
It's okay.
I got it right on the show eventually. So.
It's okay. It's the American pronunciation too, though.
Right.
I feel like Americans pronounce like the R-A-Y as like rye. So, okay. All is forgiven.
Yeah.
But don't do it twice.
I didn't do anything wrong.
No, we got to figure it out.
You didn't. No, you figured it out.
Yeah, forgive the
I'm
United
talking about
States.
Taz.
Okay. Yeah, well,
he gets it right now, I think.
Well,
took him a couple months, but he got it.
Yeah, when we see Taz.
John's looking at me right now. He's like, please, stop. Stop.
Well, you know, it's funny that you talk about your youth.
Yeah.
Because we just had an independent wrestler in here who started wrestling at 8 years old.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And you started incredibly early, too.
Yeah.
And I was reading some of the stories about how you would travel by yourself and do all these crazy things when you were 14 years old. Mm-hmm. Now, tell everybody a little bit about your start in the UK and what that was like to be wrestling at such a young age.
Yeah. My brother Zach actually started wrestling when he was 8 years old too. But our family, I mean, I have a big wrestling family in the UK.
Right.
And my dad was the first one to get the ball rolling with the wrestling world, and then he created his own company, WAW. And then I've told this story a bunch of times, but my mum was pregnant with me, didn't realize. And Robbie Brookside, who's actually the trainer down in NXT right now, he gave me my first official bump when I was a fetus. He was he gorilla pressed my mom and threw me from the inside of the ring to the outside. I say threw me. I was in there. I was rolling in there, taking my first flip bump.
There you go.
But I all is safe and well, and this is why I ended up the way I ended up. You know what I mean? Scoliosis, messed up. I was an addict at one point. I blame Robbie Brookside. My mom didn't know. My mom didn't know.
That is pretty crazy, though. Wrestling at like -3.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
yeah. But it was because my mom just pretty much popped out my brother Zach. We're like a very short, like 14 months between us.
Okay.
So she wasn't expecting to be pregnant again. And then she's a small framed woman. So she was 7 months and she was not showing at all.
Okay.
My mom has like this runner's body where she's just like, she was just jacked for no reason at all. She didn't even work out. And so, yeah, she, like, I see pictures and stuff, and I'm like, you ain't lying. There was no show whatsoever. And then she went to the doctor because she was feeling sick the next day after she got gorilla pressed, and they were like, you're pregnant. And she was like, what? And they were like, you're actually, like, very close to giving birth pregnant,
Wow.
And she was like, oh, my gosh. So, yeah, then she had me. And then a star was born.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, wrestling as a teenager in the UK, what was that like for you?
Awesome. I speak to some of the guys that I wrestled with back in the day, like when I was 14, 15, 16 or whatever. And they were like, we were so terrified just to talk to you.
Yeah.
Just because of my dad and my brothers. Because like I was very protected.
Right.
Like that. Like I had very protective like family that just to a fault. Like I felt I couldn't breathe. That's why I like to go out and travel by myself, and do things because I didn't want to be in like my family's shadow too much because the Knight family in the UK and across Europe, they're like a big deal, right? And so I was like, I wanted to have my own career and do my own thing. And so I started giving out resumes to like different wrestling companies when I was really young. And there was a company called Irish Whip Wrestling. I don't know if they're still around anymore, but I remember giving them my resume and they said they didn't take women's wrestlers. And I was like, well, you're going to regret that one day.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't know if they are still around. I don't know if they have women's wrestlers now, but I was just like, whatever. So I took that knockback and then just kept sending resumes out. And I did my first start in Norway. And then I was doing Belgium and Denmark and Turkey, which is a terrifying place to go. It was terrifying. So went all over the world. And my dad every week would be like, can you do my show this weekend? I'm like, sorry, Dad, I'm in Spain or something. He's like, I know he can't cuss right now, but he would be like, where are you going this weekend? And it was just really fun. So I didn't really have much of a childhood where I was hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. I was just wrestling. I loved wrestling so much. And that's why when I got older, I was like, I need my childhood back. And I just started raging way too hard.
Well, that happens.
It does.
It's all good. But, it is funny that we really have seen you pretty much grow up into where you are now. And I still remember the night that you won the Divas Championship. And just how amazing that was to see you go out there, and you're still grinning about that.
It gives me chills every time because it's really weird. Because recently my boyfriend was getting tattooed in our house, and there was a couple from the UK. I wasn't familiar with wrestling, and she was like, "So what do you do?" She's like, "In my house." She's like, "So what do you do?" And I was like, "I'm just going to show you fight with my family real quick." So I just showed her the movie. And she's like, "What the?" And then by the end of it, like it gets to that winning the Divas Championship, and it's just. You never get over that feeling because when you're a wrestler, when you're younger, especially back in the day, you didn't have many places to go for wrestling. Now you have a wide spectrum of wrestling and it's awesome. But it was just WWE. WWE was like the pinnacle. Like this is where you made the money too. This is where you got, you lived your dream. This is where you make money as a wrestler.
Right.
And so, yeah, you were like, I want to be a WWE diva. That's all I wanted to be. So the fact that I managed to get there and win the Divas Championship my first day, and they gave me the opportunity to do that, I couldn't believe it. I was young. I was 21 years old, and then I won it again when I was 22 on my birthday. I was like, they treated me wonderfully. Yeah. And I just it's just really awesome that I got to do that. And I'll never stop smiling. And it's really weird that it's been 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. Isn't it? It's like time flies. I didn't realize how long time, as you get older, it goes so quickly. I'm like, it's bananas.
So tell me, to get put in that position, I mean, that's a huge deal. What do you think it was that they saw in you to put you over that quickly I mean, obviously you had been doing it for years, but to put you over in that situation, which was unexpected, I think, to everybody watching the show that day. But
dude, it gives me, I get chills every time. But I think it's because Triple H was really wonderful with us in NXT. It was FCW, then he took over and named it NXT. Yeah, so I just won the NXT Women's Championship, and it was the first ever female match that was on the network. Remember that? The network?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
And so we were the first ever female and the first ever pay-per-view that was on it. And then my T-shirt got released, which was the Think Again T-shirt that Triple H had made for me. And it sold out instantly, like that, just done. It sold out. So I think they were just like, oh, she could make us money. And so they were like, let's bring her up on the main roster, you know. And also, it was just something different. I feel like there was only one of me down in NXT at the time, like the pale goth chick who wore a lot of black and studs and stuff like that. Now it's the norm, and it's really cool to see that there's so many different like alternative girls out there. But at the time, like I was thinking about Lita when I was dressing like that. I was like, I loved Lita. Like that's who I inspired, like who inspired me to be myself, and my mother, of course. She's crazy, but yeah, so I feel like it was like a different flavor of ice cream, and it was the shakeup that the division needed at the time too. Like it was like Triple H who was the one that was pitching for me to go on the main roster, and Vince was like, "Fine, but she has to wear purple," and that was it. So I had to get my purple wrestling gear, and I slowly transitioned back into the black again eventually, and he didn't know it was a thing.
Very nice.
And it was real quick, and it was the day before that The Rock approached you about doing the movie,
which was nuts, dude. I cannot get over that. Like that is crazy. So bizarre. Like getting that text on my phone being like, "Hey, it's DJ. I'd love to speak to you at some point today." And I'm like, "Who the F is DJ? Why is he texting my phone?" Dean Malenko, legend, who now works in AEW too, which I love. That he was one of the reasons that I wanted to come to AEW too, because I'm like, Dean's over there. He's a good guy. He's like my mentor. And he was just sitting next to me, but he'll also cuss me out too. So he's just like, he was like, "That's Dwayne Johnson, you idiot." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I was like, "I can't believe Dwayne's texted me. I didn't realize we were on like nickname terms." You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I was just like, whatever, yeah, I'll be here chilling. You know, I'm just trying to act all laid back. The fact that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is texting my phone. Because at the time, he's not just the wrestler. He's this huge movie star who's the most famous man in the world, pretty much, right? And I'm like, oh my God, how intimidating. And then someone came and grabbed me, took me to his locker room, which I'm like, this looks really weird. Everyone's going to think something, you know? And so, like, I walk in, and he was just a big gentleman, right? Biggest sweetheart. And he's just like, "Hey, I'm DJ." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, duh, yeah.
Right.
And then he started, like, having just the conversation being like, "Oh, I watched Fast and Furious. Couldn't sleep one day. Saw Fighting with My Family. Loved it. Reminds me of my family. I would love to do a movie on it." And I'm just like, so like I was like, what is happening? And I instantly just start crying. This is in the first like 2 minutes of me even being in there. And then he was like, "Oh, I was in the writers' room, by the way, and you're gonna be winning the Divas Championship and debuting the next day after wrestling." Crazy. And I'm like, "What the heck, dude?" And I'm just crying my eyes out. Like I just didn't know what to say. And then he was like, "And no one can know anything, so keep it quiet." And I'm just like, how? Like, this is nuts. And then walking out, Tamina, they're cousins. So she's walking in to come see her cousin. She sees me walking out, so we bump into each other. And she was like, "What are you doing in this, sis?" And I'm like, "I'm just a really big fan of Dwayne." Like, I just didn't know what else to say. So I'm just crying, just like, "Okay, bye." Like, walking away. But she's a sweetheart, too. I love T. She's great.
Yeah, that is an amazing story.
Nuts.
And then, you know, one thing that I think has made your career stand out was you ushered away the diva into truly people appreciating women's wrestling.
Yeah.
And, you know, taking away you get away from the bra and panties matches and all that kind of crazy stuff. And now we're actually getting down to business. And, you know, in my opinion, like, you and AJ really kind of led the way to then open the door for everybody else.
Yeah. Everyone has their different opinions of how, like, the revolution got started, right? A lot of people have your opinion, though. But it did start, you know, with me and AJ doing like the frenemies thing, you know, and everyone started watching and paying attention. Like, okay, there's two, like a freak and a geek kind of thing, and like this weird dynamic of these women. And yeah, we got to have like wrestling matches, and it was really, really fun. And then they started taking time away from us, though. So there was like a little revolution. It was like inching, and then they kind of just stripped it away. And then they're like, well, now AJ's gone. Let's just like give them 2 minutes, you know, with entrances and exit. Like, it was just impossible. So then after a while, it was me and Emma, and who I give a big shout out to too, because if you watch the NXT women's match, I felt like that was one of my favorite matches I've had too. And I feel like she doesn't get enough flowers for that. But it was me and Emma against the Bellas, and they had cut our time completely, really, really short. And we were just like, let's just go out there and do less. Like, I'm so tired of it. So we went out there and pretty much did like a couple of strikes and a roll up and got the hell out of there. And I got backstage and they were not happy whatsoever. And we were like, we're not happy. Like, we're miserable. Like, we're the first people that get cut. Like, I saw so many of the girls cry because their WrestleMania moment got taken away. And like, the show is 3 hours long, longer than that sometimes. It's a whole day event. You can't squeeze in a females match. Like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, it was, and Total Divas was bringing in big numbers for the WWE too at the time. Oh, yeah. So it was really, really frustrating to not be used. So then we just kind of took our control back and was like, you know what? F you guys. If you don't want us to be on the show, if you don't want to give us time, we're going to give you even less of our time. Right. And the internet is a big part of that. As much as like we have a love-hate relationship, they definitely helped big time because they started Give Divas a Chance trending, for 3 days straight, to the point where Vince had to listen. He had to. Triple H wanted us to succeed anyway, but it was more of like a Vince thing, and he had to listen to us and had to listen to the internet. We kept inching in and breaking down doors and, punching through ceilings and stuff like that. But ultimately, it took the internet to pay attention to us doing it for it to like really kickstart. And then after that, they brought the girls up, which was like a fresh new roster, and then they started giving all the girls time. So it looked like the revolution started there, you know what I mean? Because like we had kicked that door down for people to get the time that they're getting and for the opportunity to wrestle the way they want to wrestle. Yeah, but everyone has an opinion, is what it is. Alondra thinks she started it.
Right. Yeah, I don't. But the thing, we have a wrestling school out here as well, and there's
nice.
a lot of females that sign up and just have this dream. So like, hats off to you, like for being a trailblazer and really inspiring people out there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and then it all went away.
And then it all went away.
And
come on, Mark.
And I've had situations in my life where I coached for a very long time and stopped, and I actually stopped doing radio for a little bit, and the pain that gets in your heart when you're not doing something that you love is just mind-blowing sometimes.
It's not replaceable, though.
Yeah.
The feeling that you get from something that you love is just not replaceable. You can't just fill it with something else. Right. Like, nothing made me feel like I was doing Twitch, but I was also being held back so much when I was in the WWE because they just didn't give me the freedom to do what I wanted to do, to even like try and find something else that could potentially fill that void. And then also they wouldn't want me to do media. They didn't want me to do anything. So I was sitting on my ass for like a couple of years and people thought I enjoyed that. No, I hated that. I was miserable. It made me very depressed. Not to the point where I started doing drugs and drinking again because I was a lot smarter by that point, but it would make me so miserable, like not being able to do anything. And that's one of the things that when me and WWE had parted ways, I was getting reached out to by Tony Khan and Jericho, Moxley, Renee Britt, like everyone. And they were just like, you'll have the freedom to do whatever you want here. You just have to come to work every week. And I'm like, are you sure about that? But I was like, okay. And they were like, no, we will give you that first class travel. Yeah, we will let you, take days off when you need it. Yeah, you don't have to wrestle as much if you don't want to. But the option is there. Like, the thing is, they gave me the option to do what I want. And it felt so good. Like, I felt like, I don't know, like liberated somewhat. I just felt like I just had freedom. Again, that's not a knock on WWE. Right. I was there for a very, very long time. I loved my time there. They gave me a platform. They, they created Paige essentially. Right. They gave me the opportunity, the baton, and I ran with it. Right. And it's awesome. And I appreciate them so much. But, when you're like moving at your parents' house, when it's like, you've been stuck in your parents' house and then you get your own place and that's the freedom that you enjoy. You're like, oh man, this feels really good to have my own place and like leg room and stuff, And so that's what I mean when I say freedom is like, you're not being like, you don't have to ask too much permission when it comes to like, if you want to get like a tattoo or anything like that, you don't have to, or change your hair color and stuff. Right. Like you have the freedom to do that. And if I wanted to tomorrow, if I'm feeling really bad today, after today, I could be like, Tony, I'm not feeling very well. And he'd be like, hey, no worries. Feel bad. Come back next week. Like, he's so laid back, and I enjoy that in a boss. I really do enjoy that. He's super cool too. He can be like, you try to talk to him, and he's like 100 miles an hour walking down the hallway. He's like, yeah, good. You're like, I love this guy. He's hilarious. So yeah, I enjoy him as a boss, and I feel very fortunate that I got to start something fresh when I'm coming back in the AEW. But the only thing is that like nowadays, I like to do more character stuff. I love it. I'm having a ball. Like, I'm having a great time. Like yelling at the crowd, like spray painting people. I'm like, I don't care if people talk. I'm having fun, dude. Like, I'm having so much fun. And I was like, you can wait for me to wrestle. You're gonna slow your roll. You're gonna wait for me to wrestle. You know, it's gonna be something special when I do get in the ring and not just wrestle Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday like I did in WWE after I just come back from the first neck surgery. I was wrestling every single day. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm 30 years old now, right? I'm about to be 31. I want to take it really slow. I can't be like these girls that are in AW who are like 21 years old, you know, who can't feel bumps, you know what I mean? I'm like, I felt them. They took me out. Like, I'm good. I'm going to take my time. I don't care if people complain about it. I'm taking my time.
And there is part 1 of our interview with Saraya from AEW. A lot of great stuff in there. And there is going to be more to come in the next segment as we will hear more from Saraya. And, of course, you know, she was talking about, you know, getting a little turning 30. Well, you know, if you want to turn back the signs and symptoms of aging, I got a great place for you. Infinite Wellness LV here in Las Vegas. Just a terrific place. And, you know, they're going to help you out with occupational therapy, massage therapy, hair restoration, erectile dysfunction. They can do some Botox for you, cryotherapy, weight loss control, and nutrition guidance, which they are helping me out with. I've started to turn the keg into a spare tire, so it's getting there, and it's through Infinite Wellness LV. So go check them out. Infinite Wellness .info is the website, and call and make an appointment with Jenny and Jordan, and of course Dr. Caprio, who's awesome, by the way. 702-842-2244 is the phone number there. At 8925 West Post Road, Suite 100 here in Las Vegas. And once again, that number for Infinite Wellness LV is 702-842-2244. And when we come back, we are going to hear more from Saraya as she talks about Wembley Stadium and, of course, everything coming up with Double or Nothing, and more about her incredible career and how she was dealing with the internet trolls. Pretty fascinating stuff. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with more on The Mark Hoke Show right after this.
In a kayfabe world, LasVegasWrestlingScene.com brings you the real story. Las Vegas Wrestling Scene is the source for pro wrestling news, along with their up-to-date events calendar. Visit LasVegasWrestlingScene.com.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. The David difference in there.
Yes, sir. Oh, what a difference a Dave makes. You don't even let me get my catchphrase in today.
I said it in my head, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the beginning.
We're good.
We're all learning. And Brian Ronovich from LasVegasWrestlingScene.com. And, guys, we've got more to hear from AEW superstar Saraya. So how about we dig in and let's hear more from the former Page in WWE and one of the great, incredible wrestlers and a legend in our sport. So let's hear it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We're on with Saraya, who we have Double or Nothing and AEW Dynamite coming up next week here in Las Vegas on, of course, Wednesday the 24th, and then the pay-per-view on Sunday the 28th, which is going to be a great time. Mm-hmm. And now your time here in AEW, you've been a bad girl.
I have. I love it.
What is going on with this Outcast thing? You know, you get the old gang back together and you're wreaking a little havoc.
I'm having such a great time. And people compare us to NWO and Outcast and I'm saying Outcast. You know what I'm talking about. Like DX and everyone. Right. People comparing us to them, and I'm like, sure, do it. Because we were inspired by them. Absolutely. I love that. We're not stealing it. We're inspired. And like everyone's like wrestling gimmicks and stuff like that have been inspired by somebody.
True.
Wrestling moves. They don't just come up with them. Like I took a Bull Nakano. My Scorpion Cross Lock is a Bull Nakano move. You know, I just modify a little bit. Everyone takes little bits from different people that they're inspired by, and that's okay. Like stop complaining about it. Try not to cuss. Yeah. No, I'm having a great time. And it's easier to get people to hate you than it is to like you. Like coming in as a babyface, easy, right? Because I just came back from a career-ending injury, right?
Yeah.
And it was easy for a little bit, but the things that Britt was saying in her promos, I'm like, why wouldn't I be on your side? Like, you are the pillar. You are the first ever signing to AEW. I am coming in from a different company saying that I'm a star.
Right.
You know, like, why? So when people started, like, being like, well, she's saying kind of stuff that is very accurate, like, that, so they start booing me a little bit. And I'm just like, I kind of want to go this way. I kind of want to, like, nudge more into the heel role. So then we end up doing the storyline where you can cheer and boo for whoever you want. But then I said to Tony, I was like, I do want to go heel, though. I feel like it's best for business for me to go heel. Just because you do have the homegrowns, and AEW love their homegrowns, like the AEW crowd.
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, fiercely loyal. It doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy. If you're a homegrown, they're like, we like you more than we like her, or we like him, you know. It's just easier for me to work as heel. And I'm having fun. Dude, I'm having such a good time. Like, this is going to sound like unprofessional, whatever, but I'm trying to make freaking Ruby and Tony laugh while we're out there. You know, I want to have a good time. Like, I don't know how long my career is going to be from here, right? You just never know. And, you know, I don't want to take it for granted. So I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. I want to go at the pace I want to go. I want to be, can I say the B word?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a bitch. I like being a bitch.
All right.
It's easy to be a bitch.
There it is.
I'm like, can you say it?
It's all good. You know, the AEW women's division has really taken leaps and bounds, and you've got to be excited to have really been a part of that, and we've been seeing a little bit of it on the AEW Access show. How are you feeling about where the women's division is at AEW, and how much further is there to go?
Oh, we have so much left in the tank. We're just getting started. This is such a baby company still, like, what, 3 or 4 years old? They have still so much to do. And, like, what I love being a part of is, like, there's, like, a real long storyline. We like to call it bacon in an oven storyline, not a microwave storyline where it's, like, very quick. Like, we like to take our time with this. And we're having a ball. And, like, I feel really excited that I got to be a part of something like this. And it's just going to get bigger and better. Like, I'm going to end up taking a step back and letting someone else be a part of, like, a big storyline. And I like that there's 2 going on right now. So you have Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie, who I absolutely adore. I love that she's been a part of it. Now Jade's getting some, like, challenges, like real competitors coming in rather than being, like, feeding her just, no offense to the extras, they're all awesome, but you know where it's going to, you know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's like very, like, you're like, okay, this girl that didn't get an entrance that walked out with the referee, is she going to win against Jade? Probably not. It would be awesome to see a shock, though. Right. If one of those women did, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, so it's good to see, like, her having Taya to go up against, you know, or, you know, whoever else wants to come in and take a shot at it. Hopefully us. I want to take all the championships.
There you go.
I was going to
be greedy.
I was going to ask you about that because even though you are a heel right now, how much fun would that be to get in the ring and have a nice run with Jade?
Oh, I would do it in a heartbeat. I want to try and get Jamie's first. I want to piss people off. I'm sorry I keep cussing.
That one's okay.
Okay, that one's okay.
You're okay on that one.
I don't get fined for this one?
Nah,
no.
That's Sesame Street. That's Sesame
You've already
Street
gone through that fighting process. And that one wasn't that bad either, by the way.
It wasn't. And first of all, I'm from England, and I pronounce it a little bit differently. Like, it actually means idiot in England, all right? It's a little different over here, I guess.
We're sensitive out here.
A little sensitive, yeah. At least I didn't drop the C-bomb, though. I could have.
That would have been bad.
That's a very endearing term in the UK.
Right.
If we call you a C-bomb, it means we like you.
Oh, okay.
But,
I'm going to remember that for you, Dave.
Wait, what were we talking about? I got distracted by cuss words.
You wrestling Jade.
Oh, yeah. So I would love to face her, of course. I would love to go for JB first. I would love to take them all just to make people mad. I want to make people mad. They don't want to see me with a championship, and I love it, so I want to take it.
You think about maybe doing that at Wembley Stadium at All In? Because I can only imagine how excited you are about that opportunity. And, you know, so many people were really down on Tony trying to do that card at Wembley. And now it looks like it's going to be an unbelievable success. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get to go back home and perform in Wembley Stadium. Look, she is grinning like crazy, guys.
I get so excited because, like, Wembley is like it's like Madison Square Garden or just, you have so many stadiums out here. England doesn't. Like, we're a very small country. So, like, that is a 90,000 seat stadium. And I've never got to be a part of something like that in my home country before. So It's awesome. And, and then Jamie is also getting her first taste of what it's like to wrestle in the UK. She did Japan and everything like that. She's only been with AEW for a short period of time, too. So, now she gets to go over there and wrestle in a stadium, and I think that's absolutely incredible. Would I like it to be against me? Absolutely.
Of course.
Selfishly, absolutely. I don't know who England would cheer for more, me or Jamie. You know what? We'll see. If we actually get that match, then awesome. A lot of people want to see it. That's all I see when it comes to the girls. When it comes to me fighting someone or Jamie fighting somebody, people want to see us two go head to head at Wembley, at least.
And seeing AEW take this big step has got to feel good that now you're a part of that as well. Mm-hmm. What's the feel in the locker room right now with all of you seeing what's happening with this Wembley Stadium show and feeling the growth and saying, my God, this is it. This is what we've been working for.
It's a legitimate company. It is. It's a competitor for real. And it's awesome that now there's another place for other wrestlers to go, and they have an opportunity to go, and be a success, not just in WWE, but you have AEW, and that's freaking awesome, dude. And everyone's excited about Wembley because not one match has been announced. And the fact that they just sold all those tickets, especially day one, they sold tons of tickets. And then just the pre-sales, tons of tickets. So there's only 10, 20,000 or whatever tickets left, right, that have to be released still. And I think that I feel like I said from day one, I said, England doesn't let you down. They will sell that. They'll sell it out.
That's what I said.
Yeah, they'll sell it out. And it's not just England because you've got Europe right there.
Right.
Just a stone throw away. And then people from America are definitely going to fly over for that too. They do it for WrestleManias. They fly over from all over the world. This is like our WrestleMania. So it's going to sell out. I know it is. People, the naysayers and stuff, they're going to be like, oh, they paid for all those tickets. They're going to find some excuse as to why it's sold out. But it is what it is. AEW is that bitch. Sorry.
And, of course, we're on with Saraya. And, speaking of the internet people.
Oh, God, here we go.
Now.
Yeah?
Oh, boy.
I follow you on Twitter.
Sorry.
I've seen a little bit of venom out there and a little bit of crazy stuff getting said out on the these social media tracks. Mm-hmm. We had this endometriosis thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, dude.
So
let's clear the air.
So let's first. How do you feel about dealing with people on the internet, and then tell everybody about this whole thing with the endometriosis, because this has just taken on a life of its own, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I know, and it's the dirt sheets that make it into a thing too, and then the men that have no idea about women at all. Apparently, have never touched a woman or been in 5 feet of a woman. Try to mansplain to you, what endometriosis is. So endometriosis, right? For the men that thinks it's sexually transmitted, it's not. That was probably I know.
So
I know. It's so bad. It's so stupid. So endometriosis is something you get, where some of the cells, it grows outside of your womb, right? So on your ovaries, you suffer from cysts, you suffer from extremely painful periods, right? To the point where it's hard to get out of bed. It's very debilitating. You get... You're just in pain. It's really difficult to continue with your there's different stages of it though. Right. So it's really hard to continue with your day. So the fact that I've wrestled with it throughout my whole womanhood, it didn't just come about one day where I'm like, oops, got endometriosis. No, it happens. It doesn't have to develop after the first period, but it starts around that age where you're 15, 16, 17 or whatever, and it gets worse over time. So I've never spoken about endometriosis, folks. I'm like, it's really no one's business.
Right.
But then, this was about 6 months ago, I posted about this thing that my boyfriend got me to help me with my period pains, right? And so many people reached out to me being like, please tell me if it works. I'm suffering. There's a whole month dedicated to endometriosis, right? And a lot of doctors don't take endometriosis the way, serious as the way they should, even though there's a whole month dedicated to it. It's called the silent disease, right? It affects women tremendously. It's awful. And a lot of men don't understand that. It's awful. Unless you live with your woman that has that, you'll never fully understand it, right? But yeah, so I was like, okay, I want to start talking about it more because it's helping people. And having someone I do a lot of things that are relatable to people, right? I've done a lot of stuff, but people are just like, oh, I've done that too. Right. But I'm like, okay, I can help people with endometriosis now. So I started talking about it. But I should have known better than the internet wrestling community to spin it into, that's the reason WWE didn't clear it and because they don't understand what it is. It's just an awful, awful period that you get. And once you start your period, it is right there. It is right there. I didn't just get it. It just gets worse with age. My endo belly gets worse with age. I can't help it. It's actually like an insecurity. Like I had to ask Ruby one week because my stomach was really swollen, and it can look like you're pregnant. It can swell really, really big. And I've had a lot of different surgeries down there just to like take some of the pain away or take some of the cysts away because I can develop cysts and stuff. It's really painful. So I had to be like, hey, I forgot my flannel. Can I borrow your flannel? Because I want to cover myself. Because, you know, people, the first thing you say is like, oh, Saraya's put on weight. And they always say that.
Of course.
Every time. Like, oh, Saraya's looking a little too thick. And I'm like, that's my endo belly. So for everyone that doesn't understand endometriosis, it's not something that develops overnight. It's a long-term thing. Not every woman has it, but it's very noticeable when she does. So for the women out there, if you want help, reach out to me. I would love to help you. And I know a bunch of resources and all these natural remedies to help take the pain away or relieve a little bit of the pain, enough for you to get out of bed. And for all the men that don't understand it, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Everybody's got an opinion, and I mean, obviously, I've heard you speak on social media and how you like to take a time away from it, which I think is good. I mean, it's rough for normal people, but you look at celebrity status. Everybody thinks you guys are impervious to insults, and
you're not allowed to respond to them either. They say you're not allowed to respond.
I mean, how do you deal with that? Obviously, you have to be on there if you're marketing yourself and you're promoting. You're not impervious to insults or pain or
I respond. I respond because I don't care about being the bigger person. Because I'm like, if you're going to punch up, I'm going to punch down, right? I'm never the one to start it, but my dad's always like, make sure you finish it, right? So, like, when it comes to Twitter, I'm like, you guys, just because you have 13 followers, it doesn't make you invincible to me hitting back at you. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you have two followers. You're going to feel what it feels like. Because he is mostly guys, by the way. He is not the only one that's talking crap to me that day. There's hundreds, sometimes thousands of people that just go up. There's like a dirt sheet going around and everyone has an opinion on it. Or they just want to write to me and talk crap. And so I'm just like, you know what? No. You're going to feel what it feels like. And then there's a bunch of my fans that will be like, yeah, leave her alone, and like cuss them out too. And I'm like, imagine that every single day. You're just getting it for one day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you deserve it because you attacked me first. And then people are just like, you need to be the bigger person on the internet. I'm like, I'm not the bigger person. I don't want to be the bigger person.
Just being honest about it.
No, I'm like, I'm going to defend myself. I'm like, you're going to attack me for no reason. I have no idea who you are. And I'll forget about you very quickly too. But I'm going to respond to you, and you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. Done deal.
Nice.
Like, and then I'll delete it off my socials. So then I delete all my socials, and I sort of have to look at them ever. I'm like, all right, now dip. I'll let the fans do the rest.
Can I ask you this? I know because I'm all about mindset.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of students, a lot of younger generation that has dreams and wants to become a wrestler. And you've been around everybody. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've reached success as well. So what are 3 top qualities that you see in talent that you've worked with that you also see in yourself that has gotten you to the level that you're at?
Okay, so it's everyone that I've worked with. So like AJ and the Bellas and like just in WWE, and then when I come over to AEW, Britt and stuff, they're constantly driven. Like, they're never complacent. They're always thinking about, like, what we could do next, writing stuff down. Like, they're very passionate. They never... So Dwayne gave me this advice, stay humble and hungry, which he says a lot. But these women are. They stay humble and they stay hungry. You have to be humble because you want people to be able to work with you, right? And then also when you're going up the ladder, you're going past these people and they'll eventually come up there with you. And then you're going to go down and you're going to want them to work with you again, right?
Right.
So you have to stay humble and you have to stay hungry. Like, you have to constantly be driven. And I also say patience too. Like, you have to be, these women were always very patient. And there's this quote that I absolutely love for people that want to be in wrestling or just anything at all. But I've always had this quote in the back of my head, right? I wish I listened to it myself sometimes, actually. But never listen to people that try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that. But the real greats make you think that you too can become great. So that's why I like working with Dwayne. He was always like, you can do this. And then Dean Malenko, you got this. You know, all these people have no ego about them. So it's like, again, it's like the humble thing. Like, just stay humble, and you always want to encourage people to be better instead of being cutthroat in this business. Because there's a lot of people that can be cutthroat and they don't want to help you and they don't want to encourage you. Like, be not that person. If you're backstage, you'll never hear me being mean to anybody. I've never been mean to people. I've never been mean to fans. If they see me in person, it's only recently when someone made a comment about my tapes that I got. And when I walked in the hotel, I was like, that's insulting. I don't have to sign these billion cards that you have of me because I know you're going to sell them. I was doing you a favor for me to walk in and do that, you know. So I'm always nice to everybody. It's always good to be nice.
Well, you got a good energy about you.
Thanks.
There. And then I trip off of you were 21 when you had a movie made about your life.
I know.
Like you haven't even lived yet, but you've lived. What is the second half? If we did a part 2 of that movie, what is that movie called, and what's that entail?
You know what? I would love to see my brother get his movie. There was 2 stories in it, and there was Zach. And, I just got him his visa because Tony was awesome. And he took the time to speak to Zach. And he was like, do you have a visa? And Zach was like, no, I don't. And he was like, well, I put you in a dark match right now, but you have to have a visa to work over here, right? So Zach was like, you got it. And he never got that opportunity in WWE. They never gave him the time of day. And he did all these tryouts. They just never gave. And after the movie, I feel like they dropped the ball big time with him. Like that could have been the ultimate underdog story right there with my brother. Years and years spending the time trying to make it. And so now with AEW, Tony, without even thinking, was just like, yeah, I'll give you a dark match. Sure. And then I was like, I'll just get him his visa. And I got him his visa. It should be here in August, which is awesome. And so I'd love to see his story about it, where he finally makes it. Because his was even a bigger underdog story. And if it has to be about me, then it would be, it would have to be rated a little higher.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to be a family-friendly movie, I feel like what I did after I got to WWE wasn't the most family-friendly. And I want them to see the nitty-gritty of it, and what I actually went through and all the, the dark times and stuff like that, because it could help a lot of people. So I would love to see that part. And then make it a comeback in the new territory that is the AEW.
I think it's a beautiful story. Maybe we call it Fighting with Myself, the second
Fighting
half.
with my demons. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. Well, we've got Dynamite coming up this week. A big 6-man match that I think a lot of people were expecting to see at Double or Nothing.
So are we, yeah.
So we've got you, Tony Storm, and Ruby taking on Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hoot.
It's going to be great. I feel like, that's the match people were waiting for. I want to do a blood and guts match. I was expecting to do all these different things. Maybe that's the next thing on the pay-per-view. Who knows? Maybe this is just a little taster. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what's going to happen in Vegas. All I know is that I have a trios match. What is it? Tomorrow?
Okay.
I have a trios match tomorrow. I get to hang out with the Outcasts, and we get to face girls who are really good wrestlers. So let's just see how it goes.
So wait, you're telling me you don't know yet?
I don't know anything.
What is going on with you at Double or Nothing?
I don't know.
I thought this was going to be the Saraya show here. What's going on?
I don't know. I have no information.
No
So I guess you just have to tune in and watch. And I wish I could tell you something, but I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully we get told something this week, maybe.
Well, I would hope so.
I'll text you and be like, listen, bud, this is what's happening.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Well, we really do appreciate you coming down to the KDAWN studios and spending some time with us, Saraya. We're looking forward to seeing you back here in Las Vegas for Dynamite and Double or Nothing.
Thank you.
For over Memorial Day week. It's going to be a blast, and we want to wish you all the best. It's been an incredible ride so far, and he's only 30 years old. There's so much more to go.
Got so much left in the tank, kind of.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, you do. Great energy. Great energy.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And there you go, Saraya from AEW. What a great time we had with her, David.
Oh,
that was fun.
We had an amazing time, Mark. Just the two of us, man.
Yeah, you did. You guys sounded like you had a great time. Sounded fun.
Great interview. But yeah, man, just inspiring. I mean, obviously, to be any part of this business, but just to see her energy at this stage in the game, like you could tell she's still passionate about it, and just an open book, like good people. You should have been here.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah,
I would have liked to known.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, guys, we've got to get our last break in before we wrap the show up. And we're going to give you a little preview of what's going on here in Las Vegas. Not just Double or Nothing, but it is a packed weekend for professional wrestling. So we will check out that out with Brian from LasVegasWrestlingScene.com. We will be back with more on the Mark Hoke Show. And by the way, don't forget Nasty Boys next week. Going to be a blast. We're in trouble. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get ready for one of the most exciting and interactive events on the pro wrestling calendar. The 57th Annual Cauliflower Alley Club Reunion at the Plaza in Las Vegas. Meet some of your all-time professional wrestling favorites. Check out the wrestling memorabilia. Participate in terrific seminars and star-studded events, including Tuesday and Wednesday night CAC Awards and dinner nights. Visit caulifloweralleyclub.org and get your tickets and membership today. That's caulifloweralleyclub.org.
Tired of the same boring food when you're out for breakfast or lunch? I'm Mark Hoke, and I have an idea for a different place to go with unique food you're sure to enjoy, and that's Unique Eats. Take some time out of your busy day and stop on in to Unique Eats, featuring celebrity chef Dominic Tedesco and his friendly staff. Whether it's a great start to your day with one of Unique Eats' amazing omelets, or lunch with his incredible sandwiches, pasta, and award-winning pizzas, you'll be in for a fantastic dining experience that won't break the bank. Unique Eats also features a smoothie bar and full vegetarian menu as well. Plus, if you need catering, you can count on Unique Eats no matter what the occasion. So what are you waiting for? Get on over to Unique Eats at 3100 South Durango, Suite 100, open daily until 3 p.m. Call them at 702-992-3038 or visit uniqueeatslv.com for their full menu and catering info. Break out of the same old routine and have a great meal at Unique Eats today.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we are back on the Mark Hoke Show. Very little time, as that Saraya interview was a little long. But, Brian, I wanted to give you a shot real quick while the music's going to be playing. Okay. What do we have going on here in Las Vegas over this Memorial Day weekend?
Well, starting Wednesday, of course, AEW Dynamite and Rampage, I guess. Thursday is the Future Legends Tournament, under 25 years old, top stars, 12 of the top stars at FSW. GCW's here Friday, followed by Hood Slam on Friday night at the Silver Nugget. Saturday, there's like 100 shows. There's at least 11 or 12. Most of them are at the FSW arena. FSW versus GCW 2. The first one was great. The second one will probably be better. There's literally shows all day. So if anything you want to do, check out LasVegasWrestlingScene.com/event calendar to find out all the days, all the times, ticket information, cards, everything.
All right. And that's going to wrap it up for us on the Mark Hoke Show. David Difference,
goodbye.
Brian Ronovich. Hey, we'll see you next week. Double or Nothing weekend and the Nasty Boys.
Yes, sir.
Next time, we'll be back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.